first thing I want to get out of the way, and I mean that literally, is the January 6th committee. And I know many of you aren't watching it because you know, as I know, that this committee in the House of Representatives isn't looking for the truth. They don't want to know what really happened on January 6th. They want to take Donald Trump off the board in a political way. So he doesn't run again, he doesn't get the MAGA thing going. They just want to destroy him politically. That's why this committee is in business. I mean, it's clear. And the media, of course, aids that. They amplify everything said in the hearings as fact when it isn't. So my staff and I put a lot of work into this talking points memo, and we are going to run it down for you right now. Okay, so let's begin with the timeline leading up to the riot on January 6th. On Wednesday, December 16, 2020, U.S. Capitol Police learned that protests were being organized and the nexus was going to be the Capitol grounds on January 6th. All right, so that's a pretty good indicator that the authorities in Washington had a heads up. On Saturday, January 2nd, 2021, a woman named Carol Corbin, who has kind of disappeared, she was working for the Defense Department. She was the program director at the U.S. Department of Defense. I don't know what that is, a program director. But anyway, Ms. Corbin texted the Capitol Police Deputy Chief, Sean Gallagher, asking whether or not the Capitol Police want to put in a request, a formal request with the Defense Department for the National Guard on January 6th. So all of this is documented, okay? So 4 days before, the Pentagon saying, hey, you want the Guard. On January 4th, 2 days before, the Capitol Police Chief, Stephen Sund, asked the Senate and the House Sergeants at Arms for the authority to have the National Guard assist with security on January 6th. So it's 2 days before. Sund's request was denied. That's pretty stunning. You didn't hear that on the committee representing January 6th, did you? No. Now, the Washington Post reports that House Sergeant at Arms Paul Irving told Sund, the guy who said, hey, you want the Guard, all right, that he wasn't comfortable with the optics of formally declaring an emergency ahead of the demonstration. Now, Nancy Pelosi had to know that, all right, because Nancy Pelosi is the head of the House. She's not Speaker, Sergeant at Arms right below her. So you had to know it. So he said, no. Don't send the Guard over. Okay. This is all confirmed, again in writing, by the Defense Department's Inspector General, Sean O'Donnell. Throw it on up there and I will read it to you. So, he says, confirms in writing, the White House met with Defense Secretary Christopher Miller and General Mark Milley, 3 days before the riot. And the report says that the president told Mr. Miller there would be a large number of protesters on January 6, 2021, and Mr. Miller, the Defense Department chief, should ensure sufficient National Guard soldiers would be there to make sure it was a safe event, unquote. So the Inspector General of the DOD puts out that report. Right? Did you hear about that? Was the Inspector General called? Sean O'Donnell, was he called to testify in front of the January 6th committee? No, he was not. Was he called? I mean, it's staggering. Just that omission alone is staggering. Why would you not call the man? He issued a report before the January 6th situation. He said, hey, President Trump met with Milley and the head of the Defense Department and said, hey, you got enough, we got to get guys in there. But they had to be formally requested by either or both the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, who said flat out, I don't want them, okay? and Nancy Pelosi, who says she didn't know about it, which is impossible. It's impossible. She had to know about it. Okay, so there's no doubt at all that Donald Trump did not want violence on January 6th. No doubt at all. Okay? Now let's go to the timeline for the White House. Now here is where President Trump made mistakes. At 1:13, Donald Trump ended his speech saying, quote, "I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. We're going to the Capitol, going to try and give them Republicans the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country," unquote. All right, so that he wrapped up his speech saying that. Shortly after 2 p.m., 45 minutes later, all right, the Capitol was sieged. Windows broken, people going on the grounds illegally. All right, 45 minutes later. At 2:24, 24 minutes after the siege began, President Trump tweeted out, quote, "Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what he should have done to protect our country and our Constitution," unquote. That was a big mistake by Donald Trump. Big mistake to tweet that out in the middle of this thing. At 3:13, President Trump tweets again, quote, "I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you." Okay. At 4:17, an hour later, a video message goes out from the White House, and it says, quote, "We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order, so go home. We love you. You're very special. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace." At 8 p.m., the Capitol was secure. Now, it is clear to me and any other fair-minded person that Donald Trump did not act quickly enough after the riot broke out to quell the riot. He should have appeared on video almost immediately. In fact, his supporters were texting and calling and emailing, "Please do that." He did not do it. Why not? Because he didn't want to alienate his supporters. He almost froze. He was watching the television coverage, well documented, but he froze. He didn't know how to handle it because it was his people, his supporters, that were breaching the Capitol. So that was his biggest mistake. He did not act quickly enough to condemn the riot and say, knock it off. Now, this is not actionable. He cannot be charged with a crime or anything else. And this kangaroo court of the January 6th Commission is a joke. I'll just give you one more. Remember Cassidy Hutchinson, who said Trump lost control and wanted to drive the Capitol and he's grabbing steering wheels of the Secret Service car and all of that? Okay. All hearsay, 100% hearsay. She didn't witness any of it. She was a low-level staffer inside the White House. So why wouldn't you issue subpoenas for the Secret Service who were in the car? January 6th committee? No, didn't do it. Why? Because they knew the Secret Service would contradict Cassidy Hutchinson. And all the press knew it, but they printed it anyway as fact. And they broadcast it as fact. This is deceit. This is dishonesty. Now, you have gotten, in the last 10 minutes, the most honest analysis of January 6th you're ever going to get. Everything I told you is in stone fact. No opinion other than me saying that Trump didn't want violence, and that's clearly established, and that he made a big mistake by not acting fast enough. Those are the only two opinions in the 10-minute analysis. And they're both true, based upon what we know. So you, as the American voter, the American citizen, now have to decide whether Mr. Trump's mistakes eliminate him from consideration to be president, because he's going to run again. So that's your decision. But your decision should be based on facts, not a staged set up by Nancy Pelosi and her January 6th committee, starring Liz Cheney, who's soon to be unemployed. Wyoming voters are going to throw her out. She's going to be lucky to get 20% in the primary coming up in August there. Okay. Now, if you have any questions or comments at all, bill@BillO'Reilly.com for both radio and television all over the world. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town. Got to put your name and town in there. Okay? Let me hear them. I'll answer them tomorrow. We have this. And I want to congratulate my staff. Very, very thorough. We looked at everything. And again, what we told you is absolutely true. And that is the memo.